Hi, welcome to Lesson 4 in the Reconnecting with God series, The Forgiving Father. I printed the words, "I am forgiven" on a regular white sheet of printer paper, then realized I wanted the letters to be a bit thicker, so I printed them on a sheet of regular white cardstock. I'm using a purple gel pen to fill in the letters. Luke chapter 15 verses 20 through 24. So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. The son said to him, "Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son." But the father said to his servants, "Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." So they began to celebrate. Using a black signature pen, I'm drawing lines through the letters and will cut them out. Join me in reconnecting with God. If you have spent some time in church, you know the story as the prodigal son. So basically, a man has two sons. He actually loses both of them. The oldest son to self-righteousness, and the younger son to a reckless and wasteful spending habit. The younger son asks his father for his share of the inheritance. His father gives it to him and he moves to a faraway country. After he has spent all of his money and is now dirt poor, eating out of a pig's trough, he begins to think about his father's servants and how they have more than enough. And he picks himself up, swallows his pride, and goes home. His father, seeing him in the distance, runs toward him with open arms and receives him with love. The younger son confesses his sin and asks to be a servant. But instead his father says, "Don't worry about it," and dresses him in the best clothes and throws a party for him. His father explains the reason for the celebration. "My son was dead and now he is alive. He was lost and is found." I'm masking off the text with some sticky paper, trying to make sure the words are completely covered. Using an old card, I am applying red acrylic paint to the margin of my page, and will be using a ruler to properly align the letters and then gluing them on the margin of my Bible page with regular school glue. In this parable, the prodigal son represents us after we sin and come to our senses. And the Father represents our Heavenly Father, waiting for us to run back to Him. The oldest son seems to think in terms of law, merit, and reward, rather than grace and love, rather than mercy and forgiveness. The Father implies to the older son that his love for both sons is not dependent upon their perfection, but their willingness to return to him with a broken heart and a contrite spirit. What the oldest son doesn't realize is that because of his obedience, the better portion of the inheritance has always been available for him had he asked. But in his self-righteousness, he represents the Pharisees who mocked Jesus. It doesn't matter how many times we have left our faith to go to a faraway country. When we remember who we belong to, when we remember who our Father is, we can swallow our pride and say, God, I've sinned against you. And God will open his arms and receive us with love. The Making It Personal series was to reintroduce myself to the God of the Bible, and you can find those videos on YouTube and over on my blog, as they will soon be archived. I would love for you to join me. Just as you show throwback pictures to your children and it's filled with love when you see the expression on their faces, how wonderful it would be to show them that it's okay to connect with God in a different way by creating in their Bible. Luke chapter 15 verse 7. I tell you that in the same way there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who do not need to repent. Thank you. I love you for watching.